Hello dear student. Now we are going to discuss the regulation control the financial services in India. Dear student, you know about the financial services. So these are the financial institutions. They are rendering the services to the various organization. That means they are taken for the fees as well as a given fund to the various organization. Like that they are rendering the services. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಫೀಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಅಥವಾ ಫಂಡ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವ ಮುಖಾಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನು ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ ಫಾರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ದ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಟು ದ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಆರ್ಗನೈಸೇಷನ್, some acts, it means some regulations are given to the various financial service sectors because for the purpose of the controlling. Otherwise the financial services are taken heavy interest on given the services. So for that purposes they are given some regulations to the financial services for controlling the various services in India. So first of all, the Controller of Capital Issues Act 1947. You know about the capital issues. The capital means the money or money's worth invested in the business. It means raising capitals for the purpose of establishing their businesses. The organizations are required the capitals. Here the financial services are the financial institutions are providing the capital issue services to the various organizations. So in that services, the controller is must and should. So for that purposes, the government of India is given the Capital Issue Act 1947. Under the Capital Issue Act 1947, the financial institution must controlling the services and reducing the some interests on the given funds, and also they are taken fees. So for that purposes, the controller must be given the act to the financial services. Next one is the Companies Act 1956. As you know, what are the Companies Act in 1956? When the formations of the companies or dissolutions of the companies, so the all the activities are comes under the Companies Act 1956. If you are going to start at any companies or organization, you have to comes under the Companies Act 1956. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸದಾದಂಥ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ದ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ 1956 ಪ್ರಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳನ್ನು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವೆದರ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್. It means a public company and the private limited companies, whatever it may be. If you are going to start any organization, you have to control under the Companies Act 1956. So these acts are tells us how to start the business. When we are going to start the business, in that time what are the document is required. That means the memorandum of association and articles of association and prospectus. And when we are acquiring the capital from the publics, in that time also they are telling us some rules and regulations how to getting the capitals. It means when we are issuing the shares to the publics, how to maintain. All these are comes under the Companies Act 1956. Okay, so this is one of the controlling act for the financial institutions for giving the services. Next one is Capital Issue Rules in 1966. So the Capital Issue Rules 1966 tells us how to issuing the capitals to the publics. When the organization require the capital, in that time they have to issuing the shares to the public. The shares are divided into two parts. That means equity shares and the preference shares. So here the equity shares are the owners of the organizations and the preference shareholders are the members of the organization. Here the equity shareholders means they are partners of the organizations. It means they are invested in heavy capital in the organization. But the preference shareholders, they are taken the shares from the companies. It means they are the members of the organizations. When the companies are issuing the shares to the equity shareholders as well as the preference shareholders, they have to comes under the rules of 1966. So these rules will tell to how to issuing the shares to the public. It means there are three types of the issuing of the shares, whether it is the issued at par, issued at premium, and issued at discount. You know about the par value. Par value means the value, it means the face value of the shares will not be changes as they are mentioned in the shares or the bonds or the debentures. Okay, and the premium means the extra amount will be added to the face values. It means the value of the share is increased. For example, the value of the share is 10 rupees. If the companies are raised that 10 to 12 rupees, the 2 rupees is the premium values. It means the differences between the face value and the extra values. So that is called as a premium values. And the discount. When the face value will be reductions or reducing the face values. If the face value is 10 rupees, they have to reducing that value into 8 rupees. But the fixed value is 10 only. It means the mentioned value is 10 rupees, but the companies are issuing that shares to 8 rupees. That means the differences value is 2 rupees. That is called as discount. Like that, the companies are issuing the shares to the public. So for that purposes, the company must be following the rules of capital issue rules under the 1966. So this is one of the regulation for the financial services in the capital issues. Next one is the Capital Issue Ordinance Act 1969. So this is also same when the companies are issuing the shares to the public. In that time, they have to comes under the Capital Issue Ordinance Act 1969. Okay. Next, the Security Contract Regulation Act 1956. So this is related to the securities. It means security means the stock exchanges. When nowadays the stocks are going to online markets, it means they have to totally dematerializations. So here dematerialization means reducing the paper values or the paper works. The document will be totally online, digitalizations of the documents. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ 1956 ಪ್ರಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ವಿ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಡೇಸ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟೇಶನ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಅದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಮತ್ತು ಶೇರ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಸೇ ಕೊಡುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಪೇಪರ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಬಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ನೌ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಗಿವನ್ ದ ಡಿಮಟಲೈಸೇಷನ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪೇಪರ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಟೋಟಲಿ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತರಲ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡಿಜಿಟಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಶೇರ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ನೀಡ್ ದ ಶೇರ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸೆಲ್ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಸೊ at a time they are purchasing and selling works in the digitalization works. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಜಿಟಲೈಸೇಷನ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯಾವ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗೆ ಶೇರ್ಗಳು ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ, ಶೇರ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಮತ್ತು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಕೂಡ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಹಾಕಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಯಾವ ಕಂಪನಿ ಶೇರ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬೈ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಶೇರ್ಗಳು ಬೇಡ ಅವನಿಗೆ, ಸೊ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿರುವಂತಹ ಶೇರ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಬೇಡ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸೆಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲವಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ 1956 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವನು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟೂಡ್? Now, guidelines issued by Ministry of Finances. This is also regulation for the financial services. Here the financial services are providing the services to the various organization. In that time, the Ministry of Finances are guidelines to the that financial services. That means first one is under the guidelines for issue of bonus shares. Dear student, you know about the bonus shares. So it is one of the shares. It means it is the additional shares to given for the existing shareholders. It means when the additional shares are allotted to the existing shareholders without receiving any additional payments. Understood? So they are not taken any additional payment from the shareholders to the companies, but with old payments only they are providing the additional shares to the shareholders. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋನಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಕೂಡ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಶೇರ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡರ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಂದ ಹಣವನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡದೇನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ಶೇರ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಡಿಷನಲ್ ಶೇರ್ ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಶೇರ್ ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಕೊಡೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬೋನಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋನಸ್ ಶೇರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಗಳೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಫ್ ಫಿನಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅವರು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಬೋನಸ್ ಶೇರ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಅವರು ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ವೈಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ guidelines for issue of fresh capital. So here the fresh capital issued by the companies, it means they must register under the SEBI Act only. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ಗಳು ಸೆಬಿಯ ಅಂಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅದರ್ವೈಸ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಎನಿ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಟು ದ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಸೆಬಿ ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್, all applications should be submitted to the SEBI in the prescribed form only. Understood? The application should be accompanied by true copies of industrial license. Understood? So the cost of the project should be furnished with the scheme of finances. So all the documents and all the applications must be submitted to the SEBI only, because of they are issuing the shares to the public. If any fault is there or if any fraudness is there, the SEBI is totally taken the liabilities and instead of the publics. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿತ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಕಂಪನಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಕಂಪನಿ ಮೆಮೊರಂಡಮ್ಮು, ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್, ಪ್ರಾಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೈಸೆನ್ಸಸ್, ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದ SEBI only, Security Exchange Board of India, because without the permissions of the SEBI they are not issuing any capital to the publics. ಸೊ ಸೆಬಿಯ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆದಂಥ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಥವಾ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅವರು ಟೋಟಲಿ ಸೆಬಿಯ ಒಂದು ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅಥವಾ ಸೆಬಿಯ ಒಂದು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಸೆಬಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶೇರ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಬೈಯಿಂಗ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೆಲ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರೆಶ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಸೆಬಿಯ ಒಂದು ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Next, guidelines for issue of debenture by public limited companies. So here the debenture means it is one of the document to given the loans to the companies. Here the publics are given the loans to the companies. When the public limited companies require the capitals, in that time the public limited companies are given the debentures to the publics. Debenture means one of the document containing for the given the loans to the ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಲೋನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಲೋನ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ ಹೇಳುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್, ಇದನ್ನ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ದ ಲೋನ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಒಂದು ಡಿಬೆಂಚರ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. So section 71 tells us a company may issue debentures with an option to convert into shares wholly or partly. Understood? At the time of redemption, but cannot issue debentures with voting rights. So debenture cannot be issued with the voting rights, and a company cannot issue debentures to more than 500 people without appointing a debenture trustee. So when they are issuing the debentures to the publics, in that time they have to take on the debenture trustees, whose duty would be to protect the interest of debenture holder and redresses their grievances. Any problems is arised in the issue of the debentures, in that time the trustee will take on the responsibilities. So for that purposes, every organization must take on the trustees for debenture trustees for given the debentures to the publics. Okay, on the issue of debentures, a company shall create a debenture redemption reserves. So that means a DRR, debenture redemption reserves also. And if there is any default in repayment of amount in the event of maturity or default in payment of the interest, then the tribunal will be approached by the debenture trustees to take the appropriate measures. Understood? Any problem is arised when the issue of the debentures or repayment of the debentures to the public. So in that time the debenture trustee will take on the total responsibilities. So that is the guidelines for issuing the debentures in the public limited companies. Understood? The next one is guidelines for issue of tax-free bonds. You know about the tax-free bonds? So this is one of the bond. Here the income by way of the interest on these bonds is fully exempted from the income tax. Understood? Because these bonds are generally issued by the government, because of the government entities are given the tax-free bonds. So in these bonds they are not submit any taxes because it is a fully exempted, because already the government's companies are issuing the tax to the governments. Okay, so the features of the tax-free bond, like it is one of the physical formats or the dematerializer format also. When the companies are issuing these bonds to the publics, like a physical format and as well as the dematerializer modes, then these bonds generally come with a long tenures, like 10 or 15 or 20 years also. So these bonds can be treated on the listed exchanges if applied for the demat formats. Okay, then uh, and here the retail individuals investors get higher interest rates also. So for an individual and Hindu undivided family to be eligible for higher rates, the maximum investment amounts in the 10 lakh rupees only in the tax free bonds. So these are the guidelines for the issue of the tax-free bonds to the public. So these bonds are given by the government companies to the or government entities to the publics only. Understood? Next one is guidelines for employee stock option schemes. So here the guidelines for employee stock option scheme means so these plans are the contracts between the company and its employees only. So that gives employees and the right to buy the specific number of the company shares at a fixed price only. Understood? With a certain period of time. And so it is the agreement between the company and the employees for options for the purchasing and selling of the shares. When the publics are taken the share from the companies, here the publics are taken, companies are taken some agreement to the companies also. Okay, the next one is guidelines for issue of merchant bankers. You know about the merchant bankers. This is one of the banking institution, but they are not having the banking licenses. Here the merchant bankers are providing the various services to the various organization and different services to the organization. Here the or one financial institutions are providing the various services to the financial organizations, like capital rising or collecting the capitals or debt services and forfeiting services and corporate counseling and project counselings, loan syndications, issue managements, and public issue through prospectuses, marketing works also, pricing of issues. All these works are taken from the merchant bankers when they are given these services to the various organization as well as public. They have to some taken the guidelines from the governments or the Ministry of Finances. Here the Ministry of Finances given the various guidelines for the merchant bankers to providing the financial services. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮರ್ಚೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಗಳು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನ ನೀಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಮರ್ಚೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಇವು ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲಿಂಗ್ ವರ್ಕ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೆಲ್ಪನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಎನಿ ಆರ್ಗನೈಜೇಷನ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಲಾಸಸ್ ಇನ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ಲಿ, ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಲಾಸಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲಿ ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸನ್ನು ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಅವರನ್ನು ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ ವೇದಲ್ಲಿ ಇವರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಏನು ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಮ್ಯಾನುಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟನ್ನು ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಏನು ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಥವಾ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ಗೆ ಇವರು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನ್ಯೂ ಪ್ರಾಡಕ್ಟ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇವುಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟ್ ಕೌನ್ಸಿಲಿಂಗನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅವರು. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಸಜೆಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ organizations. So these merchant bankers are given the suggestion for the various organization. That means corporate counseling and project counseling, how to start the project. and what are the rules and regulations and norms for prescribed the governments all for the new started organization or project counseling, so like that. And loan syndications, when the merchant banks are providing the loans to the various organizations, in that time they are taken some risk, so how to given the loans to the various organization as well as the public, so in that time they have to following some rules and regulations. So for that purposes they have taken some guidelines from the Ministry of Finances. Understood? So these are all the rules and regulations under the Ministry of Finances to the merchant bankers. Next, the non-banking financial companies. Under the Reserve Bank Direction 1977. Understood? Under the directions of the Reserve Bank, the non-banking financial companies are worked in India. So here the non-banking financial sector means what? You know about the non-banking, because a non-banking financial institutions or the non-bank financial companies is a financial institution that does not have a full banking licenses or is not supervised by a national or international banking regulation agencies, but they are the banks, but they do not have the fully banking licenses. They are providing all the banking services to the various organizations as well as to the publics also. Understood? But they do not have the licenses. It means banking licenses. So for that purposes, but they are comes under the Reserve Bank of India. So the Reserve Bank of India given the direction to the non-banking financial institution. For example, post office. So post office also providing taken the deposit and given the shares like NPSs, and they are depositing like RD, recurring deposits. All these works are given by the post office. It is one of the non-banking financial institution. So these are all the comes under the Reserve Bank of India. For that, given the services, the Reserve Bank of India given some directions and the guidelines to the non-banking financial companies. Okay, under the 1977 Act. The next one is SEBI regulation 1988 to 1999. Okay, the SEBI means the Security Exchange Board of India. When the companies are issuing the capital, whether it is a fresh capital or bonus shares or whatever it may be, all the companies, it means issuing shares companies, are comes under the SEBI regulations only. So without the SEBI guidelines or the SEBI regulations or register under the SEBI, the companies are not issuing any shares to the publics. So under that, the stock broker and sub broker regulation. First one is the stock broker. When the shares are issued by the brokers, it means the companies are totally depending on the stock brokers, because the stock brokers are given the shares to the publics. So they are the intermediate between the companies and the publics. Here the stock brokers are taken all the share from the company and they are issuing to the publics. So they are following some regulations under the SEBIs. So that is comes under the 1988 and 1999 regulations. Next, the prohibitions of insider trading regulations. Insider trading regulations means, it means the insider trading regulations requires a company's compliances officer to monitor the trades made by a designated persons and close a trading window for execution of trades if they are likely to be in possession of any price sensitive and information relating to those securities. All these are given to the officer of the companies. It means prohibition to insider. It means any shares are issued by the companies, that is comes to the insider of the organization of the companies. That means that is prohibition for the regulations. Next, merchant banker regulations. As we know about the merchant banker, it is one of the financial institutions. They are providing the various services to the public as well as to the organization. For that purposes, the merchant banks are, it means the merchant banker also providing the issue of the shares to the publics. So whenever the companies are issuing the shares, or any brokers, stock brokers or any merchant bankers are issuing the shares to the public, they must be followed the SEBI regulations. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮರ್ಚೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಮರ್ಚೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರು ಕೂಡ ಹಾಗೆ, ಸೊ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತವರು, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಶೇರ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಬ್ಬ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಥವಾ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಟೋಟಲಿ ಅವರು ಸೆಕ್ಯೂರಿಟಿ ಅಂಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೇ ಬರುವಂತವ್ರು. ಅವರು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಅಥವಾ ಶೇರ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ಅಥವಾ ಶೇರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತೆ ವರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಗಳಾಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅವು ಸೆಬಿಯ ಅಂಡರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂತವರು. ಅದರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮರ್ಚೆಂಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಗೈಡ್ಲೈನ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನ, ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಸೆಬಿಗಳು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Next one is portfolio managers regulation. You know about the portfolio managers. So they are the controller of the stock exchanges, or he's a person or a group of people and responsible for investing a mutual and exchange traded or closed and funds assets, and they are implementing its investment strategies and managing day-to-day portfolio trading. A portfolio manager is one of the most important factors to consider when looking at fund investments. If any persons or the corporate companies are going to investing funds in the stock exchanges, here all these works are managed by the portfolio managers, because their work is only for the managing of the funds, so or implementing any investment strategies also. So for that persons the SEBI is given some regulations. Understood? Next, underwriter regulations. So here the underwriter means they are taken the risk or a risk persons. It means an underwriter is a party that evaluates and assumes another party's risk for a fee. So they are taken the fee from the publics or any parties for taken the risk. The parties' risk will be transferred into underwriters. So they play a critical in many industries and in the financial worlds also, including the mortgage industries and insurance industries or equipment markets and some common type of the debt security tradings. So totally they are taken the risk from the publics as well as the corporate fields. So for that purposes they have to following the some rules and regulation by the SEBI only. Understood? SEBI regulations to the debenture trustee regulation. The students, you know about the debenture trustee, because they are the person who safeguards the interest of debenture holders. Understood? And services as a liaison between the issuer company and the debenture holders also. The concept of debenture trustee was evolved due to the difficulties being faced by an issuer company while dealing with each debenture holder and separately for obtaining their consent on various matters and carrying out compliances. So any problems is arising for the debenture holders, the trustee will be taken the responsibilities. So for that purposes the trustee is comes under the SEBI regulations. Okay, then bankers to issue regulations. Here the banks are issuing the shares to the publics as well as to the various corporate sectors. Here the banker also taken the rules and regulation under the SEBIs. Then the foreign institution regulations. When the foreign institutions are issuing the shares as well as the direct investment, it means FDI, foreign direct investments, all these are procedures is comes under the SEBI regulations. So if they are invested in the foreign companies in the home countries, they have to come under the SEBI guidelines. Then the venture capital fund regulations. Here the venture capital means the financial institutions are providing the funds to the newly started organization or the latest project or newly started projects. So here they are taken some risk. So for that purposes they have to following some SEBI regulations. Here the venture capital institution means they are providing the funds to the newly started organization only. Understood? The next one is the buyback of security regulations. So it is one of the important concept for the financial institutions. So it means a buyback is a repurchase of outstanding shares by a company to reduce the number of shares in the market and increases the value of the shares. So for that purposes the companies must be following the SEBI regulations. Understood? The next one is Ombudsman Regulation 2003. Here ombudsman means the banking ombudsman. So anything will be happen, or any problems are happened in the banking sectors, or the publics to the publics from the banks, so they are totally complaints under the ombudsmans. So for that purposes, the ombudsmans or the banking ombudsmans are comes under the regulations 2003, ombudsman regulation 2003. Okay. And finally, IRDA Act 1999. IRDA means Insurance Regulatory Development Authorities. So this is totally relating to the insurance sector. So it means they are providing the insurance services to the various organizations as well as the persons. So as per the IRDA Act, all the insurance sectors or the insurance institutions must be following the rules and regulations framed by the IRDAs. Okay, so these are all the rules and regulations for the financial services in the India's.